Another fatal air crash today, the second in less than 24 hours. The latest disaster occurred in California. A Learjet under contract to the California Air National Guard plowed into an apartment building in Fresno, spewing wreckage, flames, and casualties. CBS News correspondent Reed Galen has the latest details.
They never heard it coming, witnesses said, but some saw it wobbling, almost free-falling towards their neighborhood.
And all of a sudden, the plane just came down. We were all scared, and then they looked, turned around and looked, and then, boom, we just seen the whole big thing.
The pilot was apparently trying to use this wide residential street as a runway, but the jet screeched and bounced down the pavement, breaking apart and finally careening into an apartment building. Fire and chaos followed.
And the problem is the upper structures are burned so badly that we're having a hard time for the safety of our own personnel to be able to overhaul or salvage and go through those areas up there.
2 people died, the pilot and the co-pilot, and at least 15 people on the ground were injured. The Learjet, a civilian aircraft leased by the Air Force, was cleared to land at the Fresno airport just before noon Pacific time when the pilot declared an emergency and overflew. It crashed 2 miles southeast of the airport. The apartment complex was... The jet was on its way from Klamath Falls, Oregon. A fire department official said it crashed after an engine failure. Reed Galen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
That plane crash comes just as federal aviation officials are trying to reassure the public yet again that air travel is safe. This following a string of airline accidents, including the crash of an American Eagle commuter plane last night near Raleigh-Durham Airport in North Carolina. Bob Orr is in North Carolina.
Heavy equipment was trucked in to build gravel roads today as investigators began their search for clues at the muddy accident site. 15 people were killed and 5 others seriously injured when American Eagle Flight 3079 crashed last night in North Carolina. CBS News has learned that despite bad weather at the time of the crash, there's little evidence that wind shear or icing is to blame. The Jetstream Super 31 took off from Greensboro and was on final approach to Raleigh-Durham. But 3.5 miles from the airport, in fog and drizzle, the plane came down on its belly in ruts, touching off a fire in the cockpit and forward cabin.
I just saw a lot of hurt people that needed attention immediately.
The accident differs greatly from another American Eagle crash just 6 weeks ago in Indiana, when the plane was obliterated on impact, suggesting in this case that the pilots may have controlled the plane to the ground.
I think the fact that we do have the wreckage concentrated in 2 major areas tells you that it was a low-speed accident and that the angle of impact was rather gradual.
Transportation Secretary Federico Pena, who visited the crash site today, said he was troubled by the 4th major air crash in 6 months. He promised an immediate safety audit of all U.S. air carriers.
Americans should expect that the airline industry and the government will guarantee the highest possible level of safety.
Investigators are just now beginning to analyze the cockpit voice and flight data recorders looking for answers. But the 5 people who survived the crash may hold the most telling clues as to what caused the American Eagle commuter plane to plunge to the ground. Bob Orr, CBS News, Morrisville, North Carolina.
There was a disaster on the rails this morning in Southern California. A freight train plowed into the rear of a coal train, starting a tremendous fire. Nearly 100 cars derailed. At least 3 crew members were injured. Officials say the brakes on the freight train failed, but the engineer was able to radio a warning to the coal train before the collision.
And Amtrak is looking to head off another kind of disaster, this one financial. As correspondent Vicki Mabry reports, Amtrak today announced big cuts in jobs and passenger service.
Lucille Kirkwood got the bad news at the halfway point of her 4-day trip from Florida to Washington State. Amtrak is cutting back.
I take this once a year, and I really hate to think that next year, this time, I won't be able to take it.
Even with federal subsidies of nearly $1 billion a year, the passenger railroad is losing money. So service will be reduced throughout the country, and 5,500 employees will lose their jobs.
Without these changes, we may not have a future.
Beginning February 1st, many trains won't run as frequently. Starting April 1st, some segments between cities will be cut, and 3 routes, including the popular Chicago to Milwaukee run, will be eliminated entirely. This round of cuts is expected to save Amtrak nearly $175 million this year and almost $400 million a year after that. But the bloodletting may not end there.
It's always late anyway.
Critics say the carrier has been hurt by its own performance. Low airline fares and a series of accidents, most of which weren't Amtrak's fault, have turned passengers away.
It's not practical to carry passengers on railroads. A very low-cost structure of the air system that we have and the prolific use of automobiles in this country.
With a new budget-conscious Congress in place, Amtrak's government ride may end.
All aboard!
And without a sharp turnaround in passenger loyalty, its trains could be sidetracked altogether. Vicki Mabry, CBS News, Dallas.
Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, crime on campus. Charges that some colleges are more concerned about protecting their image than their students. And can this strange new brew do everything they say? The demand for it is mushrooming.
You ready? Yes. Tell me what you smell.
No.
Ready stuff.
Yes.
I have a nasal spray I want to give you. Now what do you smell?
That's an orange.
You got it. Curious about the product? Dristan 12-hour nasal spray.
Man, I can breathe.
Discover something new for regularity. Always made with the highest quality natural fiber. Metamucil, now at a surprisingly lower price.
I didn't think they could make Metamucil better, but they did.
Metamucil, the natural choice for regularity.
Order anything here at the cafe, and you'll be assured of one thing. Light-tasting, delicious food, because I'm cooking with something new. Crisco Natural Blend, a blend of pure and vegetable oils that reflects today's light living. With only 1 gram of saturated fat, I thought the leading blend was light. Is lighter in color and taste. So bring in a healthy appetite. And remember, light taste is your order of...
Crisco Natural Blend, because cooks who know trust Crisco.
Washington's new triumphant Republican powers may have to revise their claim of a wide mandate for change if the results of the latest CBS News New York Times poll hold up. While President Clinton's public approval is sagging, the public's view of House Speaker to be, Republican Newt Gingrich, is unfavorable, of almost 2-1. On the Republican agenda for welfare reform, a balanced budget, and school prayer, our poll found no consensus on these changes. But that isn't stopping anyone in Washington from piping up with proposals to cut government programs and reduce taxes. President Clinton will have his say in a White House address tomorrow night to be carried live on CBS. Our chief Washington correspondent, Bob Schieffer, is trying to keep track of all the players and their plans tonight. Bob?
Dan, the way things are going, there may be nothing left for the president to announce tomorrow night. Yesterday, congressional Democrats said regardless of what the president decides, they'll push their own form of a middle-class tax cut next year. Tonight, the Republican leader in the Senate, Bob Dole, and his counterpart in the House, Newt Gingrich, went the Democrats 9 steps better. They called on the president to make 10 specific promises tomorrow. Everything from a middle-class tax cut and ending support for UN peace operations to supporting a balanced budget amendment, a new campaign to reduce government red tape, and an overhaul of... They also urged the president to reduce the size of government and said they'll send along a plan to help him. The spokesman for Senator Dole called it all a sincere effort to reach out for cooperation, but it really puts the president in a box now. He's talked about some of these things for years, but if he acts now, it may look like he only did so after Republicans pressured him. One other note, now that Dole is on record favoring a tax cut, his likely opponent for the Republican presidential nomination in '96, Phil Gramm, says he'll announce his tax cut plan tomorrow. Dan?
Bob Schieffer, live on Capitol Hill. Connie?
Former President Jimmy Carter's new diplomatic venture is a bid to end the war in Bosnia. Mr. Carter told CNN tonight that he has talked by phone with the leader of the Bosnian Serbs and with President Clinton. The Serbian leader, Radovan Karadzic, said he is prepared to call a ceasefire, release UN hostages, and take other steps toward peace within 24 hours. That would clear the way for a mission to Bosnia by Mr. Carter, acting as a private citizen. Peace talks broke off today between Russia and the rebellious Chechen Republic. Instead, Boris Yeltsin delivered a new ultimatum, telling the Muslim rebels to lay down their arms by tomorrow. And the Russian military backed it up with airstrikes close to the Chechen capital. Correspondent Tom Fenton reports from the scene.
From above, death rained down on the Chechens today, and then below, the tables were turned when the rebels brought down a Russian helicopter gunship. make sure no Russian deed would go unpunished, the pilots were then shot. The road to the Chechen capital, Grozny, is being paved with blood. Chechen planes never even got off the ground. Any hopes for aerial support went up in smoke after Russian jets hit an air base on the outskirts of Grozny. Undeterred, Chechen leader Dudayev appeared on TV and vowed to fight fire with fire, swearing that the soil would burn under the feet of the Russian invaders. It was brave talk from a man whose capital is being encircled by as many as 40,000 Russian soldiers. While Russian tanks took the high ground around Grozny, residents erected crude barricades to stop an invasion they feel could start at any moment. Today, the Russians again attacked villages surrounding Grozny, sending women and children below ground for cover. The Russians know nothing about surgical strikes. It seems that every village in this area is a target of opportunity. The army may be trying to send a message to the Chechen leadership, but it's the people here who are paying the price. In village hospitals, the innocent are filling every available bed. This man found something that looked like a toy and lost his hand to a disguised Russian mine. As the hospitals fill, so do the cemeteries. The question is, why must the graves and beds be filled while seats at the negotiating table are empty? Tom Fenton, CBS News, on the Chechen border.
It kills the germs that cause bad breath. It fights plaque and the gum infection gingivitis. It's a new taste, new feeling, new sensation. New Fresh Burst Listerine.
My new denture adhesive is polygrip free. It has no artificial flavor to interfere with foods or drinks. No artificial colors either. It holds my denture so tight, I can even eat this apple. Thanks to polygrip free.
Hey, now that I'm champion at the age of 45, you think I'm ready to slow down? Wrong. I'm going to keep training because in just 5 more years, I'm going to be able to travel all over the country and get a 30% discount at any Econo Lodge, Roadway, or Friendship Hotel just by calling 1-800 for a choice. But until then, I've got to find some way to keep busy. Any takers? How about now?
Travelers 50 and over can save 30%.
I was really downing those tablets. Started to think there was something really wrong with my stomach. Was I relieved when my doctor said I just needed a stronger antacid tablet.
Mylanta tablets are made stronger to last longer. Compared to the leading tablet, Mylanta is shown to be more effective and longer lasting at controlling stomach acid.
Unbelievable.
Mylanta tablets, made stronger to last longer.
My doctor said Mylanta.
17 years hard time for a murder they didn't commit. Finally released, they were awarded millions. But you won't believe what happened next.
Benny had all the advantages, and he blew it.
With everything going for him, how could everything go so wrong? Eye on America tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather and Connie Chung.
In the O.J. Simpson murder case today, the court heard more testimony about a potentially incriminating jailhouse conversation between Simpson and his friend Rosie Greer. On the stand, the guard who says he overheard the conversation. Correspondent Bill Whitaker has the story.
Today in court, a sheriff's deputy gave his side of that jailhouse incident in which O.J. Simpson may have made possibly incriminating statements. Deputy Jeff Stewart said he overheard Simpson last month yelling during a conversation with Rosie Greer, a former NFL All-Pro lineman, now an ordained minister, who visits Simpson in jail.
Mr. Simpson appeared to be crying. He appeared very upset. In my opinion, he was yelling. It was very loud in a raised voice.
Greer on the stand last week said he had a private spiritual conversation with Simpson. Today, Simpson's attorneys claimed any conversation with clergy is by law confidential. The alleged outburst took place in a third-floor meeting room specially set aside for Simpson, drawn here from a visitor's description. Authorities say private conversations are not monitored, but guards passing by or watching from a glass booth might overhear loud voices. Prosecutors have argued loud outbursts can't be considered confidential. The hearing will continue tomorrow morning. Also today, CBS News has confirmed prosecutors have seized photos of a bruised Nicole. Last month, authorities armed with a search warrant drilled the lock from her safe deposit box at this bank and found at least 4 photos. A family friend tells CBS News Nicole is keeping the pictures to document alleged incidents of abuse by O.J. The pictures could be introduced at a hearing on domestic violence, which may begin tomorrow. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Los Angeles.
One other note on the Simpson case, the prosecution officially protested today the defense motion to cancel a pretrial hearing on the admissibility of DNA evidence. The judge is expected to decide the issue later this week. Dan.
Power companies are still puzzling over this morning's mystery blackout in the West. It began in California's Central Valley and spread to parts of 8 states and Canada. Up to 2 million homes and businesses were affected for up to 2 hours.
Here in Ohio, we tested the new Honda Accord V6 and discovered the car more people buy than any other is now better and quicker than ever before. Now, why would you want a car that lets you get away so fast?
Charlie.
You got your reasons. The new Accord V6 from Honda.
So, what do you need when it's hours since lunch and years until dinner, but you really want it and your stomach is saying, have one of these, while your brain is saying, don't even think about it and, oh, that's attractive, but this might be perfect. Lay awful to eat because you crave something different than the usual stuff that might make you feel great and not icky, wild and alive and zesty and zingy and quite frankly perfect.
With a full serving of apples, it might just make you feel better.
Dear Aquafresh, my teeth were so sensitive.
The pain was awful.
Aquafresh Sensitive targets the problem, soothing the nerve to help stop the pain.
No more pain.
And great fresh taste.
Aquafresh soothes the nerve, helps stop the pain.
Our oldest was in the playoffs, and I had a terrible cold.
So I picked up Robitussin Liquid Gel's cold formulas.
Boy, did they work. Because of Robitussin, I got to watch Terry make the play of the game.
Robitussin Liquid Gels. Discover Robitussin relief for your cold.
You build a razor with precision heads to shave below the skin in comfort. And what do you get? Cut a precision groove to help the Norelco lift and cut system shave even closer. And what do you get? Build a razor that shaves closer, smoother than ever before. And what do you get? The Norelco razor, our closest shave ever.
He was sentenced to death for killing this woman. Now watch the final battle over whether he lives or dies. A new 48 Hours tonight.
A class in ancient history turned into a seminar in modern hostage-taking at the State University of New York in Albany today. A young man with a rifle took over a classroom and held 30 students captive for 2 hours until he was finally rushed and overpowered by 5 of them. 1 student was shot and wounded in the scuffle.
College students have learned in recent years the walls of Ivy are no barrier to crime, but many schools are still trying to preserve their image as peaceful citadels of learning by censoring what the students know. Correspondent Frank Courier reports on crime and truth on campus in tonight's Eye on America.
It's been rolling off the presses since 1915. The Daily Eastern News, the student newspaper at Eastern Illinois University in Charleston.
Scan them and then bring them in like this.
The credo at this award-winning campus daily is tell the truth and don't be afraid. But it's being put to the test because for the first time in the school's history, the student paper is suing the university.
I think the issue comes down to records that we have a right to have.
Christopher Seffer is the editor-in-chief, and the records he wants access to are campus police reports on 2 recent sexual assaults.
You just wanted details on 2 rapes?
Yeah, we just wanted the police blotter information.
And they said?
No. They said they didn't think it was our right to have them. They thought it was an issue of privacy.
The students appealed under the state's Freedom of Information Act. And though the paper agreed not to print the victims' names, the school said no.
It's the real world, you know. I mean, what is there to hide?
There's a crime on campus. I would like to know about it so then I can better protect myself.
While a federal law mandates all colleges to publish criminal statistics annually, there's no requirement they disclose details of campus crime.
I think students have the right to know what goes on campus.
David Jorns is president of Eastern Illinois University.
But I think they also have a right to have their names and reputations protected, particularly when they're victims.
The lawsuit is part of a nationwide movement to limit what colleges keep confidential. And it's fueled by a fear of crime and a student's right to know about it. If you think a campus is an ivy-covered sanctuary removed from violence in the real world, think again. Last year alone, there were 17 murders, more than 3,000 aggravated assaults, and 21,000 burglaries. And 8 out of 10 college crimes are student against student.
Our daughter paid a terrible, terrible price.
Connie and Howard Cleary's daughter Jean was raped and murdered by a fellow student 8 years ago at Lehigh University. And ever since, they've been crusading to let people know about what they call America's best-kept secret.
No one knew. We always thought college campuses were the idealistic, wonderful proving grounds for growing up.
The Clearys fought to pass the 1990 federal act that requires colleges to publish crime statistics. Hiding the details, say the Clearys, only protects student criminals.
Because you committed a violent crime or a felony on a college campus, you are not entitled to any privacy.
If a student was standing 1 foot off the campus when he or she committed a crime, that information would be available to the public.
Paul McMasters is with the Freedom Forum, a group that educates on First Amendment issues. He says some schools use privacy as an excuse to protect endowments.
The people that keep records secret from the public are just as interested in protecting the image of the institution as they are in protecting the privacy of the individual.
They are worried they're going to lose money. We want truth and justice. We cannot tolerate the fact that this is a double standard.
The Daily Eastern and the university square off this month in court to determine if there is a double standard. Test of whether colleges are protected sacred havens of higher purpose or bound by the public's right to know in the real world. In Charleston, Illinois, Frank Courier for Eye on America.
Former Arkansas Governor Orville Forbes, who battled government over school desegregation, died today at 84. In 1957, Forbes called out the Arkansas National Guard to bar black students from a high school in Little Rock. But then President Eisenhower sent in federal troops to enforce the law. Forbes went on to serve 6 terms as Arkansas governor. His last race was a comeback attempt in 1986. He lost the Democratic primary to Bill Clinton.
I like to treat people the way I like to be treated myself. If you don't like waiting for a service advisor to come wait on you, if you don't like waiting on the phone for an answer, for a charge on your bill because nobody told you about it, treat the customers like they were you out there standing on the service drive. For quality care standards, make it easier on the customer here by taking care of them and doing it right. Get your car in here and I'll have to show you.
Quality care people, quality care standards at your Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealer.
These people were killed accidentally by a colorless, odorless gas, carbon monoxide.
My husband carried this picture in his wallet for 21 years.
I woke up in the hospital, and Patty never woke up.
We gave our pictures to First Alert to help prevent more needless deaths.
Get a First Alert carbon monoxide detector for your home.
Please, before it's too late.
These vegetables are about to be perfectly steamed, like food has never been steamed before, in the Black & Decker Handy Steamer. Because deliciously steamed food requires perfect timing.
Everybody needs some money sometime.
When you need to send money fast, only Western Union lets you send it from home.
Hello? Rita.
Just call 1-800-CALL-CASH. Western Union, the fastest way to send money worldwide.
This advanced technology helps to diagnose arthritis. But to effectively relieve the minor pain of arthritis, use this, Advil. Advil contains the #1 doctor-prescribed pain reliever in its class, in non-prescription strength. Advil works directly at the site of arthritis pain, and nothing's been proven to last longer. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
And now, relief is even closer at hand with a new Advil Easy Open cap.
4 months into the Major League Baseball strike, talks aimed at ending it officially broke off today. The key unresolved issue, salary caps for the players. The team owners are expected to go ahead now and impose the cap when they meet tomorrow in Chicago.
Well, if salary caps are a problem, Connie, could mushroom caps be a solution? We're hearing rays from, where else, California, about the benefits of a new brew made from mushrooms. Correspondent Jerry Bowen fills us in on the fungus among us.
The end of another postcard-perfect day in La La Land, and hidden away in the Hollywood Hills, Norman Baker is singing to his mushrooms in Spanish and Hebrew.
Just trying to communicate with the mushrooms and give them some very good energy and vibrations.
This is Los Angeles, after all, cultural capital of kombucha mushroom tea, the latest elixir for everything from AIDS to aging.
You all are very, very special, and you know it.
Baker and his partner Betsy Pryor, operators of Laurel Farms, sell the tea starter kits, one floppy mushroom, instructions included, and they preach the gospel.
We've had customers call us and say, this just arrived, and I'm holding it in my hand. I have never felt such love in my life from anything.
And they get hundreds of letters, all kinds of testimonials. At the Beverly Hills Juice Club, owner Dave Otto, 58 years old, is a convert.
Well, I can tell you a year ago, this was real gray right through here, and it definitely has changed.
And 80-year-old Bob Lindgren says he has the energy of a 50-year-old. Couldn't garden a year ago. Now he grows monster squash, all because of the tea, which he brews at home in his crock pot of youth.
It's supposed to remove some of the wrinkles. I don't know where I've lost any years now, because I got so many, I might have lost 2.
But scientists say kombucha is less a wonder drink than an old Russian remedy, one known for helping the digestive systems of some.
Because it's a kind of a folklore drink, like maybe chicken soup.
How much is your fungus?
Oh, it's 10.
But New Yorkers Francesca and Charles Biondo couldn't resist one last purchase on the way to the airport.
You gonna try some?
Sure, what the hell? My age, I'd try anything.
And back at Laurel Farms, Norman and Betsy are putting the next batch of kombucha to bed.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
They've been tucked in, sung to, and promised only good vibrations.
Beautiful.
No nasty pizza monster's gonna get these babies. Not in La La Land. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And that's part of our world tonight. Nothing funny about tonight's 48 Hours. It's about the death penalty. A convicted killer fights for his life as the time for his execution grows closer and closer. 48 Hours, death by midnight, the final countdown about the death penalty. Tonight at 10, 9 Central Time. I'll see you then.
And Dan and I will see you again tomorrow night here on the CBS Evening News. Thank you for joining us and for all of us at CBS News. Good night.
Good night.
Experience CBS News.
This is CBS.